I am the rays of the rising sun, snow on the mountains of the moon, the far-flung canopy of stars, the shadows of late afternoon. I am the wisdom of the sage. I am the refuge of all who weep. I am the mother of all who live. I am the promises I keep. I am the one who sits with sorrow. I am the one who feels your pain. I am the hope of your tomorrow. And all is lost, I still remain. I am the one who will remain. I am the seed that longs to bloom, the river yearning for the sea, the heartfelt hope of every womb. I am the faith you place in me. I am the silence and the sound, the gentle rain that breaks the stone. I am the dream of love unbound. I am the way that calls you home. I am the one who sits with sorrow. I am the one who feels your pain. I am the hope of your tomorrow. When all is lost, I will remain. I am the one who will remain. I am the one who sits with sorrow. I am the one who feels your pain. I am the hope of your tomorrow. When all is lost, I will remain. I am the one, I still remain.
Greetings, everyone. Whoever you are, wherever you are, I'm happy to be everywhere with you this day. And I'd like to begin our time together with a brief poem prayer that speaks to the underlying energy of my entire presentation this day. Spirit sings songs of love everlastingly, all that lives an echo of love's diversity. Love is easy when we feel filled with words of praise. Yet, sometimes our prayers conceal less than loving ways. Love can transform all we do, teach us how to be loving to each other through all adversity. Love our God with all your heart in the ones you see. Every day, a brand new start. Love wholeheartedly. This then is the context of our time together today. And I would like to just spend a little bit of time revisiting this past year that actually brought us to the gateway of a new beginning, because we were facing really what looked like a dead end. I'm from Hartford Seminary, a multi-faith international institution of education, where our student body and our faculty represent so many parts of our world. And I have been privileged to be there longer than I care to tell you how many years that has been. And during this time, we have this program called the International Peacemakers, a group of students we bring together from around the world to receive kind of an immersion opportunity here in the States, getting to know one another, getting to know each other's theology, getting to know each other's culture, becoming friends, and then returning to their own places to make a difference in the world from which they have come. Okay. We were scheduled to have a graduation in May, but all of a sudden, in March, everything changed, and this is the year. This was last year, March. Ironically, the Ides of March, the Ides of March, time of foreboding. That's exactly what happened when we received the word that nations were going to close down their borders, and anyone who was in the States and wanted to return to their home countries would not be able to do so. And the time of the notification we had left in order to do something about it was literally about 4 days. And the thought of keeping, even though the graduation was in May, and so this was an early time still yet to leave, the thought of having them stranded here from all their different nations when we didn't know if we could stay open, we made it possible for them to return home. We had a closing prayer together, something I will just never forget. We were all crying. We had 3 days for them to get out of town. They were sharing wonderful experiences that they had had. And I just want to give you one example of one person who was part of that. A gentleman from Nigeria, where there had been warfare in the north part of the country where he lived. He was a minister. He was going back to open a little formal school for all the children in the village. His wife also was a teacher. And there had been a kind of outbreak of the revolutionaries came in and shot up the women and all the children. The men had managed to escape. And this individual who was in our program went to the kind of schoolyard, and there were bodies everywhere. There was even and children were the only ones who were left alive. The mothers were dead, and this little baby who couldn't have been more than 4 months old, 5 months old, was suckling at the dead mother's breast. So he gathered the children and he took them to the home, and he said to his wife, "We must take care of them, we must help them." Making a long story short, a week later, they already had 3 children of their own. They adopted the 18 children. So Denladi, who came to the Peacemakers program, was returning home now to a family of 21 children who were survivors of a massacre, with all the love we could send him with. And this was part of the dynamic of the energy that we were feeling as we said goodbye to these wonderful people. Now, what was also wonderful was an ad hoc graduation. The president of the seminary, Dr. Joel Lohr, surprised all of us. He had the certificate, the graduation certificates ready. He had robes, he had stoles, he had everything, and he had them put it on, and he raised his hand and he said, "You are now graduates of this program." And he took a formal photo so no one would ever know that they were leaving almost out of to go into exile, out of this exile, that they were actually graduate students and they had had their graduation. But that was, and as I say, it was ironically on the Ides of March, on the Ides of March, which bodes not well if you study your history. 1 year later, okay, 1 year later, having lived through in a context that was actually empty, classes were suspended, courses went online. All of you have been this. All of you out there still have remnants of this lockup continuing. But somehow we made it through that year. And for myself, who lives on campus in a little house there, where almost nobody else was left except several individuals, I had this opportunity to do a lot of reflecting. And I also found myself being drawn more deeply into the song and into the life of Jesus. And I said, what would Jesus do? And, in this kind of point, and I found that in reflecting on the life of Jesus again through a different lens, I ended up writing a very small book that was actually poetically and metaphorically influenced by the songs and hymns I had written through my lifetime. And it was not, in the end, it is not about Jesus. It's what Jesus was about. And I think as we pull ourselves out of the depths of what we have been through, it's not about what the negative things that happened. It's about the good things that arose in the absence of the patterns we had gotten so used to. New relationships, new energies, new pathways. Yes, we couldn't attend our church services, but somehow those who are members of church went out into the community and brought church to them, so to speak, brought the dynamics of sharing, caring, loving support, and in many cases were able to help people everywhere make it through. For me, what was interesting for me in doing this little book called In the Spirit of Jesus, the songs that were associated with the different chapters gave me a new perspective, not only on the song or the hymn I had written some time ago, but also on the Jesus whom I thought I had known all my life, which a piece of whom I have known, but the relationship deepened for me. And so I kind of throw this out as a way, sometimes in the old hymn tunes, maybe set to a new text, we can find new meaning from the past to carry forward into the present, to take us into the future. A new song, however, totally, I would just like to read this text to you that got me into thinking it's a new world. There are some things we cannot afford to lose. What are those issues? There's some aspects of our tradition we cannot afford to let go of. What are the core elements that we somehow need to perhaps reimagine, reinterpret, repackage so that the core will live on? So the words for this hymn text and tune that came called All the World awakens with the rising sun, morning after morning, blessing everyone. What have we accomplished when the day is done? What on earth is worth our handing on? Energies that warm us from a distant star, constantly transform us, make us who we are. Consciousness is cosmic, prone to peace or war. What will earth become when we are gone. Love is everlasting. Love for everyone spills into the future, shapes what we begun. Love's inherent wisdom with us on the run gives us hope to build a world upon. And so the takeaway for me from this incredibly challenging year has been there is a subtext or a sub-theme or the through piece or the through core melody that keeps repeating in any significant piece of music. And I like to say that word is love. We have seen manifestations of it popping up everywhere, sometimes in the most unlikely of places. And we've rediscovered that it's, yes, there's love in the church services and the church community and all the good things we do that emanate from churches and synagogues and holy places and centers. But love is everywhere. Love is in everything. Love can be transmitted in multiple ways. And so we need to begin to recover the depth of love that we have, not only for our own kind, but the depth of love we have for the other that we have discovered in the midst of this pandemic, because so many people were in the same place as so many others, you know. It's created somehow a new normal, a new collective of brothers and sisters, friends, neighbors, no matter who we are, what color, what faith tradition or no tradition, what age, what country of origin. And so that, in a deep sense, is the new collective community that has various ways of celebrating and being faithful to the traditions from which they have come, the people, and which they want to live on. So, coming around the corner then, reflecting on all of this with Jesus, giving new insight to my own songs and hymns, how they could be reused in a different way, coming around the corner to this new year saying, it's got to be over soon, you know, and it wasn't at the moment. It was in January. I'm sitting alone in the seminary chapel, beautiful chapel at Hartford Seminary, because no one else is there. And it has the most incredible acoustic, sort of like this beautiful space here. And I was like, this drum beat, and we'll sing this a little later, but I want to read the text. It's called Begin Again. Refrain at the beginning and end. Come, and I'm talking to the divine now, I mean really. Come, where have you been? Why so silent? Can't you see the mess we're in? We need you now, source of all. Show us how to start anew. Begin again in you. Hear all around the silence and the sound, the longing deep within for all that might have been. Dust and destiny, finite and infinity, day after day, showing the way to live, forgive, and then begin again. Come, Holy One, our good deeds left undone, the times we fail to care that need is everywhere, call us now to be a planetary family, day after day in every way to give, forgive, and then begin again. Come, where have you been? Why so silent? Can't you see the mess we're in? We need you now, source of all. Show us how to start anew, begin again in you. And you know what? That's precisely what happened. At least in my little circle of the world, things began to open up. Things began to shift. Things began to change. Good things began to happen, not only for myself and my community and the persons within I'm associated with, but I'm also a member of an international community called Medical Mission Sisters globally around the world. So And Harvard Seminary is international in its student body and its teaching and its faculty. So that sense of the largeness of the planet, the globe, is always with me. And now I'm trying to find a way to awaken this in others. So one other song came out just recently, and then I'll kind of, bring my comments to a close, and we'll have some interaction with those of you who are part of this gathering here today. And context. I don't usually look at the news during the day or the television, but this day I was glued to the screen because of the George Floyd trial, and the verdict was coming out. What was the verdict? What was going to happen? And masses of people were congregating on the streets everywhere, and I had my television just on all day, just listening. So it was the end of the day, and they said, the jury is still out, but they're coming. And this whole song just came, and it started with the words, what if? What if the day had finally come when all earth realizes sacred is made manifest in myriad shapes and sizes, while all creation hears a single song and harmonizes, we are one, from all that makes us different, a single web is spun, all inclusive, all is sacred, we are one. And I looked at the thing and I turned on the sound and the jury was still out and the words came, the next verse came, just, what if we put aside the many forces that divide us, bringing to the forefront all the good that is inside us, gracefully embracing opportunities denied us, we are one, from all that makes us different, a single web is spun, all inclusive, all is sacred, we are one. And then voila, the verdict, and everybody's screaming and shouting and crying and jumping, and I'm sobbing. And I said, this song has got to end on this happy note. What if amid the chaos of a graced emancipation, we start anew and see it through beyond all expectation? What if, awash with inner peace, we rise in celebration, we are one, from all that makes us different, a single web is spun, all inclusive, all is sacred, we are one, all inclusive, all is sacred, we are one. Let's continue our conversations together. Thank you. I'd like to now sing the song that I read to you during the talk, What If? And I'd like to, I need an angel to help me get through this, so I'm inviting Angela to come up from the audience to share, and I need another angel, Meg, to help me with the guitar, so now we have a trio. Let's sing What If. What if the day had finally come when all earth realizes sacred is made manifest in myriad shapes and sizes, while all creation hears a single song and harmonizes, we are one, from all that makes us different, a single web is spun, all inclusive, all is sacred, we are one. What if we put aside the many forces that divide us, bringing to the forefront all the good that is inside us, gracefully embracing opportunities denied us, we are one, from all that makes us different, a single web is spun, all inclusive, all is sacred, we are one. What if amid the chaos of a grace emancipation, we start anew and see it through beyond all expectation? What if awash with inner peace we rise in celebration? We are one, we are one. From all that makes us different, a single web is spun. All inclusive, all is sacred, we are one. All inclusive, all is sacred, we are one.
Yep, can you hear me?
Absolutely, friends. Here we are. The thunder is zooming behind us. So
Hey, MT, great. I have a question. Somebody sent in a question.
okay, good.
Somebody asked, what was the song playing at the very beginning? And what were the poems? Which collections were they from?
Here's the fascinating thing. That was the very first collection of woman prayer, woman song. That was first that ever came out in the Catholic tradition. It wasn't Catholic, but I am, you know. And it was all the women's rituals and all back in 1987. And there were three verses of a prayer. And long story short, Janice Ian, my dear soul friend Janice Ian, at one point, she heard that and she wanted to know what song that was. I said, it's not a song. She said, well, I have a melody I can't get out of my mind. Can I set it to music? And she did. And so the music is by Janice Ian. I'm sure people know her. She is an archive person in folk music. And so that song is by both of us, Janice Ian and myself. It's words, and she wrote the melody.
Oh, that's so impressive. So
it really is. It's really, and here's this wonderfully Jewish woman, you know, feisty gal who is in so many things, and myself, to be soul friends and to share at that level of creativity is truly grace and gift from the Spirit.
MT, that is impressive. So tell me once again now, there is a book that this comes from. So she wrote the words to the collection?
No. I wrote all these, the first like women's, to have women's ritual in Roman Catholicism, you know, with women's images and all. That was actually shocking back in 1987. Okay, believe it or not. It seems like yesterday. But anyway, so this was one of the prayers I had in there. She set this one to music. So the melody for this song is hers. And she also added a verse of her own.
And she was also the singer that we heard. Was she?
That's correct. She's the soloist. Yeah. Look her up. I mean, Google her, and she's all over the map, all over globally, the map. She has more Grammys than any other female singer, folk singer.
That's impressive. And you both have this amazing relationship, do you not?
We do. We're soul friends, deep, deep down soul friends. We could not be more different. We could not be more alike.
And someone asked, what is the title again? What is the title?
Of that book, of that collection, or of the song? The song is, oh my glory, what's the name of the song? I'm in a different world here. I Am the One. I think it's I Am the One, yeah.
Okay, and MT, what in the title of the collection? Do you also know the title of the collection?
Where that original, I'm sorry, a woman's song. It came, no, oh, excuse me. This is a later thing. It's on a collection of my, put out from a studio in Albuquerque. Dan Paulus, the producer, decided because I didn't get much traction in the Catholic churches at all with my songs in the USA. They're not, you know, my songs went underground. They went to schools. They went to the missions all around the world. They went to other Christian communities. They went to all kinds of village people, but not formal Catholicism, because that just did not fit the frame. So that
Okay.
so he put out a series. The first one called it's a collection of my songs out of this group in Albuquerque, and she heard it and she sung it on that collection.
That's great. Well, if it comes to you, that's great. And you know what? Max has your CD and he typed it out for everybody. And everybody in the chat will notice it's I Am the One by Janice Ian.
That's correct. It's by I Am the
So
One.
I Am the One. Yes, you were correct. And so, MT, can you tell us a little bit about, or however long you want to speak for, a little bit about your new book, In the Spirit of Jesus?
Well, all things change, yet some things stay the same, correct? Right? We remain human, but as we grow, develop, evolve, as time goes on, as situations change, as the world changes, everything changes. And it was ironic that the Jesus who has been so core to my own spirit and spirituality since little girlhood to this moment and beyond, that Jesus could not stay the same because I didn't stay the same. And this is the challenge for church traditions. To have a tradition of Jesus at the core is one thing. To understand Jesus through the lens of the Spirit, the Holy Spirit in Jesus, which then connects that spirit to everybody and all creation, however they want to interpret spirit differently than through the lens of Jesus, which is the lens of Christianity. And even within Christianity, the different ways we see Jesus denominationally and also even categorically without denominations or religion as a human being who did so much for humanity. Okay, so we have narrowed Jesus down so small within Christianity and more so within Catholicism that Jesus is not going to fit into the matrix of the future that is moving ahead with such speed and change, which we experience during this time of COVID. And I wonder if COVID was not a wake-up call, putting us in touch with all of humanity anywhere and everywhere, saying we are all susceptible to being wiped out or to being demolished or abolished. So what is it? What is it on the realm of not only sheer humanity, but also in the realm of the sacred that allows us all to celebrate the presence of divinity in our lives and in the story of our reality and in our own different cultural and religious ways? Okay, that's a kind of complex answer to a simple question, which is not simple. So that in a sense, Jesus is in one way different for every one of us, because our spirituality sees even the Jesus of our religion in uniquely personal ways that does not fit a collective matrix. So because I'm in this position at the seminary that's multi-faith and open to all people, my desire to find the relevance of Jesus for everyone, everywhere, but also for myself, who is so friends with all cultures and people and everything. So this book came out of my own need to do something during that year of lockup when I was by myself. And I said, I got to look at Jesus. Jesus has got to get us through. And who's the Jesus I'm turning to? So that's what that book is about. Very simple questions. And it starts even with like looking at the backstory. What if in his life was this? And if so, and then how do we apply it? And then I tuck some song texts in to interpret spiritually each of the 12 short chapters. It's very simple, but it's designed to be read by groups. And so you could talk about it because each one will have a different sense of what they're seeing and what meaning they pull from it.
MT, thank you. I have another question here from
Okay.
the president of the United Church of Christ Musicians Association, Michelle Heck. She asked, She would like to know more about the beginnings of your musical experience and especially writing. Your
Wow.
so
Okay. I have been schooled in Gregorian chant, which I love. Now, your tradition would not be privy to that, but the chants, the ancient chants, maybe you do as a musician would have, studied some of that. And the choral, the traditional choral, motets and beautiful things of the masters through the centuries. Okay, that has been my spiritual matrix. And then I also studied that at Catholic University School of Music. Got a master's degree from in music. But my heart really is with the folk song. And I never realized it was folk, would be folk song ever since I was about very young, since I learned to write, maybe 6 years old, or even before I learned to write, I spoke little poems to myself. So I'm a poet at heart. The word and comes first, but then it's the music within the word. It's not, this is a tune, that's a text, or this is a text, how am I going to write the music? They come together so that you can see that what if, the what if sang itself. I didn't sing it. What if, and it rises up, what if, but up, so from the very beginning, I have just from little girlhood, age of 6, 7, was writing poems, and a little bit older when I got into the community of medical mission sisters, and we lost the Latin right with Vatican II, came into English. I was the only one who knew anything about music, and we couldn't afford an organ, we're missionaries, who's going to carry an organ to Africa? But I picked up a guitar. I said, if I can play 4 manuals and 189 stops organ for my graduation from Catholic University in music, I can certainly take 6 strings and make a tune. And that's literally about all I've ever done with the guitar, just 6 strings and a tune. But it's taken me all around, and it's kind of made the song and myself accessible to all denominations, non-denominations, other cultures, other faith traditions. So that's kind of my music background. It's just different than a musician. I'd never call myself a musician. I say I'm a singer of songs.
MT, you talked about this. The closing piece for your workshop was "What If," and we are all so impressed with your inclusive thinking, and especially in this divisive world today. Tell us how all of a sudden I'm just inspired by the text of "What If." Tell us how you were inspired to write the tune. And I mean, you're a poet and a musician. So the text came to you, the tune came to you. Tell us the story about this.
Right. I did say that within, I think, I'm sure I said that within that session we did, right? I don't know if people saw the session and are joining the question part, and we sang it at the end of it. 3 of us.
You did.
You did.
Tell us what inspired you. Tell us. I remember you telling me the story.
Well, I did think I said that I was like listening to this trial. I was listening to the trial of George Foreman, and Foreman trial to see if this man was going to be held guilty, for killing this person. And I said, just even at the end of the session, I was listening to it, and the jury was out, and the words to the song came, "What if, what if?" And the jury was still out, 20 minutes later, and the second verse came. And then all of a sudden the jury returned guilty, and all the other words came, and it just poured out. There was I wasn't thinking of words. I wasn't thinking of a phrase. The song sang itself. It just sang itself out, the whole thing. And where it came from, I could never do it again. It's just one of those moments that creative people, like all who are listening, have moments when whatever it is, a portrait, a painting, or a song, or something pours out, and you say, I could do it. Where did that come from?
The words and the music just came out together.
Yeah,
they were
absolutely. Because there's a rhythm in the word. I've always felt there was a rhythm, the accent, the rhythm of the word, and the crescendo is in the rise of the meaning of the sentence. So it's all kind of, there's an if you analyze it, and I don't do analysis well because I like the creative, but if I were to analyze it analytically, you could see it follows all the principles of, the high point ends up high. And then, I don't know, and there's a lot of alliteration as well, or, where did it come from? It didn't come from my brain. I wasn't thinking. It came from my spirit, my soul. And that's why the core of my teaching these days is get into the stream of quantum energy, quantum reality, the quantum spirit, meaning it's not locked into the plug that you put into the socket to get electricity. And COVID has taught us this, that this next generation and many of our own have already moved way beyond our understanding, our own understanding. Personally, we oldies, of what energy is. Energy, and that's what divine energy is. So the more we understand our ability to connect like we are now, even though there are blips and you can't see me, you can't see me, I can't see you. But
We can see you.
Okay. Oh, you can see. Okay, but I can't see you. So I'm getting a piece of my own medicine here, my own. So I can give you the truth of what I'm feeling. That doesn't make you any less present to me. I got your energy. I hear your voice. I feel sense your presence, and this is how the world is evolving. So the next generation and the one that follows, the grandchildren, will not even imagine we could be thinking so linear as even the way we're talking right now, that we'd have to explain these things. They will be living it, they are, it's the world, and the world is evolving faster and faster than it ever did in our lifetime. And let me tell you, it did it pretty fast in my lifetime.
MT, we included, you sent me a copy of your What If song. And MT, just for the committee, MT and I talked about getting it on our music program so it's really professionally done. And we are going to do that after this conference. She and I will meet and try to get that together for her. But it is available, and if my memory serves me right, MT, we welcome everybody to use it for their worship services. It is a wonderful hymn. And I think in this age that we're in of divisiveness, I think everybody should, it's in her research, it's on her resource page. You can get a copy of this hymn and feel free to share it to the world. MT, another question came about. Do you have a songbook that we can purchase to use in our churches?
Songlines is got lots of, Songlines has 100 songs, hymns, rounds, refrains that I've selected from my several hundred writings. I put it out a while ago, but it's still available. And it has some of the classics in it, the ones people know, and a few others, and that might be useful to people.
And that's the title of it,
Songlines, yes. And if not, you can't find it because I'm not sure. My stuff never made it into the stores or to the very far into the sales here, but you can get it from Medical Mission Sisters website in Philadelphia, okay? If you can't find it anywhere else, Medical Mission Sisters, get onto their website and then click on music resources and you'll find it there.
So MT, we're coming to the end of your session, but I wanted to somebody wants to one more thought about the What If song. They are asking again, is it available for congregational use?
Here's the thing, here is my soul philosophy. The Holy Spirit sings through me. These songs are not mine personally, they are of the Holy Spirit. Yes, I believe and understand the whole copyright thing. I'm a member of ASCAP, yes, all of that. Copyrighted by the Medical Mission Sisters, right? But you have permission to sing and use that hymn freely because the Spirit gave him the song to be sung. All right. So any of you who use it for whatever you want, use it and just keep on the bottom, Medical Mission, copyright Medical Mission Sisters. You know, if you put that down, you're free to use it.
Okay, copyright is Medical Mission Sisters for that one. Okay.
All of them, everything that I do is Medical Mission Sisters. So any of mine, you're free to use.
Okay. MT, this was so, you are inspiring to all of us. Your poetry, your music, and this latest book, In the Spirit of Jesus, has just, it is so needed. You have come to all of us in this time where we desperately need your inclusive thoughts. Thank you so much for your lecture and inspiration to us. And we hope to meet you in person. I got the opportunity to meet you in person, and I'm sure many people here will want the opportunity to meet you at some point in their life.
Thank you so much for having me. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, everyone, we will continue on. You have the 2-minute break, and then we move on to our handbell lecture. What are those funny looking handbell symbols? By Lawrence Berdensi. Thank you very much.